Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of EdgeMasterGaming, where today you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to get maybe one specific badge in Project Lazarus, or maybe you need them all. I don't know what your situation is exactly, but what I can tell you is that you've come to the right place. I can guarantee you that this is the most comprehensive guide on YouTube to date, and you will not be disappointed. A few things that I cover in this video are what map you should play on, the order that you should get your perks, where you should stand on each map when farming, the best weapons you should get, and even when to get them. But of course, before we get started, please don't hesitate to hit that like button if you enjoy the Lazarus content on this channel, and definitely please consider subscribing. Discord links are in the description box for Project Lazarus and yours truly, so check them out when you can. And now without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I need to go over some key things before you try to obtain these badges. First thing is the badge requirements. If you're going for a specific badge, like say the ones for making it to round 10 through 50, you'll need to play the game from the beginning in order to achieve these. I mean, it says it in the description, but you guys may be so eager to play that you may miss it. And these round badges are the only ones that have this requirement. Next, you'll need to decide what map you're going to play on. And to help make this decision, you'll need to know what are the key differences, and that's two things. The first thing that comes to mind is the round pacing. Graduation rounds take significantly longer than research because the zombies have to traverse the entire map to get to your location. See those zombies all the way over there? They'll have to either go downstairs and past the pack room, or stay upstairs and go through the power room just to reach you. Now for research, the map is divided into 3 sections. Whatever section is occupied by a player, the zombies are isolated to only that part of the map. Second thing is that there's some zombie training that's involved, and this is easier to do on graduation than it is on research. And if you don't know what zombie training is, it's simply getting the zombies to follow you to queue them up. This makes dealing with the horde more manageable, which makes them easier to kill, and as a consequence, you'll need to use less ammo. But don't worry, I'll be going in more detail on this a bit later. And one final thing that I want to touch on is playing on public versus private servers. All the badges can be achieved on either one. However, I highly recommend that you get on a private server to do this. I've seen too many times randoms sabotaging runs because either they don't know how to play, they want to hog the box, or they simply just want to troll you. And yes, I understand private servers are not free, but you can go to the Project Lazarus Discord and ask folks there to borrow their server. Just let them know what you're trying to do. I'm sure someone there will be willing to help. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's begin. First up is research. If you've chosen this map to get your badges, you've made a great choice. And to show you guys this process, I'm using my alt account. I've also removed all my badges, so I'm starting fresh just like you guys. This will allow you to follow my progress easily. Alright, when you first start the game, the first thing that you want to do is pick up the B93 Raffica. This will give you the first badge called Lock and Load. This gun is going to serve as your primary for the first 5 rounds. Now I've mentioned this before, but the Raffica I believe is one of the most underrated handguns in the game. With double tap, it can one-shot up to and including round 30 when packed. At the end of round 5, you should have enough points to make your way to the lab to cut on the power. While you're here, make sure that you purchase the K1A replacing your starter pistol. The K1A is a great wall weapon and will now serve as your primary. Heading back to the main teleporter room, it's time to buy your first perk, double tap. This will allow the K1A to one-shot up to and including round 9. You're going to stand here farming zombies until you can get enough points to buy the rest of the perks in this room. Quick sidebar, while you're here, prep the Pack-a-Punch machine by hitting 3 out of the 4 Defcon panels. The plan is that as soon as you finish picking up all the remaining perks, you're going to immediately pack both the K1A and the Raffica. And one more thing before I forget, search for the Easter egg tape. There's only one in this entire room. I wish I could give you the exact location, but it's randomized and can be anywhere. At about round 8 or 9, after collecting the remaining perks, make your way to the speed cola room. Here you're just going to farm in front of the metal detector room until you have enough points to pick up the last perk. On round 10, after picking up speed cola, you'll be rewarded with your second badge. Only 9 more to go. Also while you're here, make sure to pick up the second cassette tape. Again, the location is random, but it is located somewhere within either the quick revive or speed cola room. Moving on, at this point make your way back to the lab. Here you want to be able to open all the doors and just continue to farm until you get to 10,000 points. The reason why you need all the doors open is that it helps with the round pacing on this part of the map. And besides, it's where all the mystery box locations are, so you're gonna have to open them anyway. Alright, so I know that you have enough points to go pack, but as you might have guessed, you need to try to locate the third cassette that's in the lab. Usually, I've found the tape located inside one of the mystery box rooms, just a little bit more often than not. But of course, it's not guaranteed. Well guys, it's finally time to pack. Notice when purchasing, you should receive your third badge called Upgrade. Now, I tend to stay here after packing since it helps the round to go quicker. The reason is of course because you're isolated to a room that has only 2 spawn points. But once the door is open, you should farm the zombies elsewhere. Now before you go, make sure that you grab the last and final tape here in the pack room. Just collect it when you're ready and you'll receive the See You in Hades badge. Our next goal will be to achieve about 100,000 points, which usually occurs at about round 25. To do this, I always farm here at the spot in the lab for 2 reasons. Number 1, I firmly believe the zombies can reach you probably the fastest in this room than any other except for the Pack-a-Punch room and maybe the Quick Revive room. I believe this because the zombies don't need to go up or down any steps to reach you, but I could be wrong. And number 2, I can always pick up more K1 ammo. However, if you're not comfortable in this area, an alternative is going back to the spot across from the Speed Cola machine. Also, here's a tip. While you're farming, if you ever see a power-up drop in the distance and the zombies are just too much, simply run back in the room and close the door. Just wait a little while for the zombies to despawn and then reopen the door. This should allow you a clear path to the power-up like you see here. Now I know this is Carpenter, but you guys get the idea. Carpenter! At about round 25 or 26, just wait for the last zombie, and this is the point where you're going to spend a lot of time at the mystery box because you want to get the ray gun. And by doing this, you'll pick up the 5th badge, the box. So while I'm searching for the ray gun, I think this is the perfect time to discuss what you've all been waiting for, and that's what loadout you should get for the remaining badges. There are 3 types of loadouts you should be looking for. The best loadout by far is both wonder weapons as your primary and secondary, and any fully automatic as your third. Next best would be 1 wonder weapon, a sniper or shotgun as your secondary, and your tertiary should again be any fully automatic. And the last loadout would be similar to the previous one, except you would replace the primary with a sniper. One last thing, if you don't get the ray gun here, at about the last 10,000 or so points, pack the loadout that you have. Farm the zombies for 5 rounds and then run the box again. You have to do this to ensure that you get the ray gun badge, otherwise the only other option is to restart the game. So now that I've given you the categories for each loadout, let's go over these loadouts in a little more detail. Now to do this, I hopped on the PL Weapon Showcase, which is a cool way to view the guns in Lazarus without having to cycle through the mystery box. I just wish that the weapon stats information was added as well, but who knows, maybe Logitech might add it in a future update. So you may have noticed that all of the loadouts really depend on your primary and secondary weapon the most. The only thing that the third slot is used for is capitalizing on insta-kill, and that's it. Pretty simple, right? Anyways, acceptable snipers for your loadout are the AWP, M200, and Dragunov. The AWP can get you to round 50 as long as you learn to quickscope. That takes advantage of the module so that you can get the extra damage. The M200 is the most powerful sniper, but the 360 bonus damage is not really feasible when facing the horde at higher rounds. And if you didn't know, the M200 has bonus damage by spinning your character in a 360. Who in the world is going to do that every time? And the Dragunov is a big favorite of mine, even though it's not as powerful as the others. The fire rate combined with the damage makes it an added bonus to your loadout. Now moving on to shotguns. They do great damage to a point, but if you're trying to get all the badges, I would say stick with the M26 Mass. The M26 is great because it can one-shot to around 43, just make sure that you do headshots only up close, like the gun has to be in the zombie's head before firing. And as an honorable mention, I did consider the Ranger because of the 5-shot burst and the wall buy replenishes your ammo. However, you can't get to round 40 easily unless you learn to train the horde. And there's one weapon that I think in theory may also do well that I didn't include, and that's the RPG. It does have great power and has proven to do major damage when fighting the horde in the higher rounds, but I haven't really tested it in this scenario. Now that we know the weapons, let's take a look at how to train the horde using the loadouts mentioned. The most common way by far is to just train the zombies in both the Speed Cola and Quick Revive room. I tend to run around in a counterclockwise pattern around this DNA sculpture, until I queue up all the zombies. Just make sure that you always have the ray gun equipped when training to avoid the zombies trapping you. Here's a quick demonstration of how to get out of that situation if you ever find yourself in it. Notice that when I got surrounded, I aimed at the ground around me, which offers more protection because of the splash damage. And by the way, frostbite does not work here in this situation, so in my opinion, just avoid training with it altogether. Otherwise, you will get knocked. Anyway, once the zombies are queued up, I'll slow down and kill as many zombies by firing into the horde. 4 shots with the ray gun should kill all the zombies within the blast radius. One final thing that I want to mention is there are times that you may need to cross into the quick revive room when training just to avoid getting trapped like this. Now I know I mentioned not to train with frost, but you can get to the point where the zombies are all queued up like right here, and then switch to it for a one-shot kill. So what if you don't have the ray gun when training? What are you supposed to do? And that's a great question. And the answer is, you would simply replace the ray gun with the snipers or shotgun that I recommended. Use them to train, and when the horde is queued up, you can switch the frostbite for a one-shot kill, or use your sniper or shotgun to kill the remaining horde. Just remember to always aim for the head. Now if you're training and you just keep getting killed over and over again, you can try my alternate method. Just head over to the entrance of the metal detector room and use frostbite to continuously freeze the zombies as they try to enter. Pros about doing this strategy is that it will prevent the zombies from reaching you. As you create this barrier, hide behind the ice wall for a bit, which allows the zombies to queue up on the other side. As the ice breaks, just fire another round which will freeze the next set of zombies and repeat. Another good thing about using this method is that eventually power-ups will drop at the beginning of this doorway, allowing you to pick them up. But if the zombies prove to be too much, you can always use the trick that I showed you earlier by closing and reopening the door to this room. And unfortunately, this strategy does have one major drawback. You will eventually have to train again because you will run out of ammo. When this happens, just head back to the speed cola room and use the training strategy that I showed you until you get a max ammo. And I know you're like, well Edge, why do I even need to use this alternative method if I'm going to still have to train? And the answer is because it reduces your need for training to about 25%. So instead of training for 20 rounds, you'll only need to train for 5. It's now round 50, and if you got this far with the ray gun, you've done it. You should have all but one badge, and that's the Easter egg badge from graduation when something is gone. I know this process is going to take some time to get used to, but believe me, it works. And at least now you have a plan instead of hoping you don't die. Now that I've covered research, let's go check out graduation. The information that I've provided on research works on graduation as well. It's just that some of it may differ slightly, like of course with a farm and so forth because it's map specific. But if you've played graduation, you know that it's possible that you can start off on either one of two sides. The side here is close to the Pack-a-Punch room, and just like before, just grab the Raffica to get your first badge. Conversely, if you started off on the other side, just use the SKS replacing it with the Raffica once you get to the Pack-a-Punch room later. Now you're going to stay here farming zombies until round 5. Afterwards, of course, you're just going to head upstairs to turn on the power. Quick sidebar, if you happen to find one of the 2 cassette tapes early on this map, don't hesitate to pick it up. Remember, these tapes can be anywhere, so you may have to really look for them because they're not isolated to a specific area like on research. On round 5, make your way upstairs to turn on the power, and make sure you grab the key to the locked door on the way back. Also, your new primary is going to be the MP5 on the wall here in the library. From here, you're just going to farm the zombies until about round 7 or 8, at which time you should have enough points to grab all the rest of your perks. That's Double Tap, Juggernog, Speed Cola, and of course Mule Kick. Rounds 9 through 13, I took the time to open up all the remaining barricades in the school. I got the round 10 badge, and then I got the upgrade badge after packing both the Raffica and MP5 going into round 13. At the end of the round, I finally found the last Easter egg cassette tape in this room that I hardly ever go into. Once you grab it, of course, you should get the When Something Is Gone badge. From here, what you're going to do is continue farming for 100,000 points in the library. The great thing is that you'll already be in the spot for training the zombies, and if you ever need to replenish your ammo, the MP5 is right on the wall. Now this is how you would train the zombies in this room. Form a circular pattern counterclockwise, going around this column. I'll pause for a bit to queue up more zombies over here by the mule kick machine, and then I'll repeat. Like before, on round 25 or 26 you should hit your goal. At this point, just run the box until you have one of the 3 loadouts that we discussed before. After getting the best loadout, I'm going to show you an alternative method to training in the library. It's very similar to my camping strategy on research. You can actually camp in the pack room with it. The only issue is though that you don't have a way to escape like on the other map, so you have to keep an eye on your ammo. There will be power-ups that will fall in front of you. Just pace yourself and pick them up when you can, like you see here. It's round 31, and if you've ever run out of frost ammo, you can head back to the library and just like before, train with the ray gun until you get a max ammo. Once you do, you can rinse and repeat by heading back to the pack room or staying here and training until round 50. It's totally up to you. Alright, so you did it. Congratulations to you on getting all the badges. Let me know if this guide was helpful at all down in the comments below. Also, I know that I've been talking about this, but my all weapons tier list for 2025 is coming, but please be patient as great videos take time to create. And as always guys, remember to have fun, take care, and God bless.